Copyright Fair Use Notice. All media used in this review, such as video, music, characters, images, etc., is used for commentary, parody, and review only. All media used belongs to the respected owners and companies.
What's up, guys? Today we have a special episode of the movie Dojo where we discuss martial arts cinema and action films, and we have today a special guest, Lady Fat Blood's on the show today. And today we're going to talk about Donnie Yen a little bit, give you a little brief history. Donnie Yen was born in Hong Kong on July 27, 1963. He was raised up by his mother, Bao Sim Mark, who was also a famous martial artist in her own right. Donnie Yen trained in all kinds of styles, including Wushu Kung Fu, which he has won multiple Wushu tournaments. And he has also trained in boxing, kickboxing, Jeet Kune Do, Hapkido, Taekwondo, Muay Thai, wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Wing Chun, Tai Chi, and Karate. He was discovered by legendary fight choreographer Yuen Wu Ping, known for the Matrix fame. In 1984, Donnie got his first role in Drunken Tai Chi. Later on, he became more popular with Once Upon a Time in China 2 and Iron Monkey. Donnie Yen was already known and popular, but he wasn't a superstar yet until he starred in a film that broke box office records at the time called Killzone, but in Hong Kong it was SPL, which featured one of the best fight scenes, maybe the best fight scene ever, one-on-one in an alleyway where Donnie Yen takes on this assassin with weapons. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, not only the fight choreography really good in that scene, but Donnie Yen could sometimes be a little crazy. And I watched the behind the scenes of that movie, and you can tell that there were some parts of that fight where Donnie Yen wanted to make it look real and make the fight look even more realistic than what it already is. So if you watch that fight in Killzone in that alleyway, you could see moments where he's, dodging and trying to hit Jackie Wu, who was on the other side. I heard Jackie Wu was really nervous in that fight because he was like, Donnie Yen was saying, hey, come on, just come at me, man. Don't worry about it. I'll be good. Just come at me with the knife. Come at me with the knife. And Jackie Wu was like, are you sure? And they kind of went at it for a little bit. And Donnie Yen had this police stick. I mean, that's how awesome this guy is.
So surprisingly enough, Killzone was also a bit of a milestone in Hong Kong cinema in that it was basically Donnie's bringing Hong Kong and China into the 21st century and introducing the country to mixed martial arts. And by applying this MMA style to his fight choreography, he brought it to the audiences. They'd never seen anything like it before, and at first they didn't know what to make of it, but they caught on pretty quick.
And a few years later, Donnie Yen finally reached superstardom. I mean, he was already popular, but now he's just like, woo! He's up there with Jet Li status now, with the movie Ip Man, loosely based off of the origin of Bruce Lee's first martial arts teacher, Yip Man, that taught Bruce Lee Wing Chun. And not only was that movie just phenomenal, the acting, the story, the music, it had amazing Wing Chun fight choreography that ended up being so popular that after the movie came out, everybody was going Ip Man crazy, and there was actually Wing Chun schools being opened up again around China, making Wing Chun popular again.
So unfortunately, my first introduction to Donnie Yen was in the stinker Highlander Endgame. And a little brief history on the Highlander franchise, it went downhill quickly. And Highlander Endgame was no exception. The theatrical cut was a disaster. They had 3 subsequent cuts of that film, and in both of the cuts where he dies, because one is the same as the other, he dies horribly. As is tradition with Donnie Yen in American film, he dies a really stupid death. But he did get my attention in that he could obviously move. He could, when he fought against Adrian Paul, who is Duncan MacLeod in the film, you could definitely see that this guy had skills, and I, at the time, was not very aware of martial arts fighting at the time. I don't even believe I had been exposed to Jackie Chan yet, which that shows you how long ago this was for me. But he really caught my attention. He had a really good screen presence, both when he was fighting and when he had very little dialogue he did have, but he really got my attention.
So then Donnie was asked to be the fight choreographer for Blade 2, and I love Blade 2. It's one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. But, you know, Donnie Yen's insane. His fight choreography was too wild, was too crazy, too fast, that they kind of made him kind of the second fight choreographer director. And they had another fight choreographer come in to do the fight scenes. Now, the fight scenes in Blade 2 are still really well done, but, you know, Donnie was just a little bit too fast-paced, too nuts for them. But they kind of kept him on, and they gave him a small role because he's so awesome, even though he died off camera. Lame again, another lame death. And then Donnie Yen went off to be in the awesome, critically acclaimed, Academy Award-winning Shanghai Nights, where he had an awesome fight scene with Jackie Chan that was cut. Why? If you watch the deleted scenes in that DVD, their fight at the end was longer, okay? Jackie Chan and Donnie Yen are on the ground fighting each other while dodging a Gatling gun. Why was that cut from the movie? I don't know, but who gives a shit? Because it's fucking Shanghai Nights, okay? Fuck that movie. So obviously, Donnie Yen's American career wasn't going anywhere, but it was a blessing in disguise, because if he didn't fail here,
Through no fault of his own.
right, we wouldn't have had him going back to the motherland, Hong Kong, and just changing the industry and just changing Hong Kong action fight choreography for the better, giving us some of the best films in Killzone and Ip Man. But like all other action stars, you know, they're gonna make some stinkers. They're gonna have some average films. So after Ip Man, Donnie Yen's career was kind of a mixed bag. He made movies that ranged from fun to underwhelming to average to underrated to overrated and complete pile of shit. Fuck Iceman. Fuck that movie. That movie fucking sucks. Don't even watch Iceman to see how bad it is, okay? Fuck that movie. So me, being the biggest Donnie Yen fan in the world, been kind of let down. I've been getting Donnie Yen blue balls here, okay? Like, oh, they're good. Oh man, that's awesome. I mean, that's what I've been getting for his last couple of movies, you know? Fuck Iceman. So when I saw the trailer for Kung Fu Killer, I was like, oh man, this looks like Donnie's going back to his roots a little bit here. I mean, I can't expect too much. When this movie came out in 2014, Donnie Yen was 51 years old, I believe. So I can't really expect too much from the guy. The guy's already a legend. He's done so much for the industry. But I still have my fingers crossed, you know. Just make a movie. Just give us some quality, damn it. Please. So now let's jump into the review of Kung Fu Killer, and then we're going to give you the good, we're going to give you the bad, and we're going to give you the badass. Here's a quick plot synopsis. A martial arts instructor from the police force gets imprisoned after killing a man by accident. But when a vicious killer starts targeting martial arts masters, the instructor offers to help the police in return for his freedom. First up, the good.
Kung Fu Killer was a bit of a pleasant surprise. I don't want to say that I was expecting anything at all when I went into it. It's a glorious little throwback to old school Kung Fu. The plot is nearly beat for beat something you could pick up in a Shaw Brothers film from the 70s and 80s. And in that respect, it was kind of nice having to, you know, yeah, it's very simple. If you're going in expecting this awesome extravaganza and this wonderful story, you're gonna be a little, you know, disappointed, but it was actually pretty fun.
I mean, while watching this movie, I was kind of giggling a little bit. I was giggling. I giggle. All right. So I was watching the movie, and then all of a sudden, it was kind of like, wow, this feels like old school, but in a modern day setting. I mean, it's the evil master showing up, and you have learned the kicking style of the dragon technique. I will use my, dragon strikes of the Monkey King with crab style. I mean, it wasn't that ridiculous and over the top, but it was very similar in the setup. Just this evil villain with very little reason to be evil, really. It's a small reason. But he's just going around, I want to see who's the better fighter, and we're going to fight to the death. I mean, that's old school. And there's all kinds of little cameos here and there. I mean, David Chang, old school Shaw Brothers veteran, was like the butcher serving meat at a booth. And then on the TV set in the background was Jackie Chan's drunken master. And on this TV in the background we had Larkar Leung, who was the martial arts teacher of Gordon Liu for 36th Chamber of Shaolin fame, for you Gordon Liu fans out there. And there was one particular fight where the main villain fought the grappler guy technique in his apartment, and he just happened to have a Bruce Lee poster on in the background. Now for the bad.
So initially, I was a little concerned with the camera work. Probably for the very, very first fight, Donnie and his character deliberately starts a fight in prison to get the attention of the guards. And for a couple of seconds, I was a little scared that the cinematography was taking a little too many pages out of American cinema with shaky cam, too close, a cut for every impact that somebody might have made on someone else. I can't stand that shit. I want to see the movement. I want to see that the people who put their heart and soul into this choreography can show off what they can do. I don't need edit for edit for edit for edit. And in the second fight, there was a little bit of it, but it actually kind of corrected itself towards the end, and it wasn't as noticeable. And unfortunately, the end fight that was very well done was very much nearly ruined by some really shit CG trucks. And I can't get into it as to what exactly I mean by that, but if you watch it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and it's very jarring.
It almost ruined it, but it didn't. But it was not great. And now for the badass. I'm tired of saying this. Damn it. But I can't help it. This movie is not up to the Raid standards, or the Raid 2 standards. It's just not as awesome as that, The Raid and Raid 2 has kind of set that bar for fight choreography and stunts, guys. And I keep saying it, a lot of my reviews and upcoming stuff that I'm watching, it's just like, damn, it was good, but it's not the Raid 2. Man, that was well done, but it's not the Raid 2. And I'm tired of saying that, but I can't help it. It's the truth. But luckily, the fight choreography that's in this film is very well done. And we have some good weapons fighting. At some point, the villain says, screw it, I'm going to kick your ass with a fucking box cutter, okay? It's nuts. So it's like, what? Did this fool just rip out a box cutter? What the hell? And that was awesome. But I think fans might be a little bit disappointed that Donnie really didn't fight as much. He had the prison fight in the beginning, a little scrimmage in the middle, and then he was there for the end battle. But luckily, you saved the best for last, and the ultimate throwdown between him and the main villain was very well done, very good. Not Raid 2 standards, but comes very close, and that's not too shabby for a 51-year-old man.
And during the finale scene, basically the whole point with Donnie Yen's character is that he accidentally killed a man, trying to prove that he was the best in what he was doing, being this martial artist, this dedicated, hardcore martial artist. He accidentally killed
extremely popular martial arts film critic, Bay Logan. He had a cameo in the movie.
And so Donnie has this remorse about what he's done, and he's trying to make peace with it while he's serving his time in prison. And when he realizes what's going on with this crazy guy that's going around killing everyone, and they let him out, and he says, I can help you find this guy. When he finally unleashes his true self, there's this moment towards the end of the fight where you see the bloodlust in his face. It was really good acting from Donnie in the middle of this fight where you just see him just like, it was good. It was good stuff.
I mean, he was going Sith, okay? You can hear the Emperor's music. Oh. But still, it was a great fight to the film.
So don't expect a kill zone where it's thought-provoking or a beautifully shot masterpiece like Crouching Tiger or something like that. This is, you need to go in with this, with the knowledge that, okay, this isn't going to be anything complicated, and the motives are going to seem a little silly. But if you're aware of the old school cinema back in the day, it's a little bit easier to stomach. And so for my rating, I would have to say, if I didn't know anything about Hong Kong cinema and the old school stuff, the Shaw Brothers, I probably would have given this a 3 based on it's easy to follow and the fight choreography is well enough. But knowing what I know and understanding what wire fu is, because these fights are wire enhanced, these are not raid style where everything looks pretty realistic.
A little bit.
Just a little more exaggerated than what you'd usually get.
Not too much wires.
Right.
Just a little.
There is enough wires so that it's noticeable, but knowing what I know, this movie gets a 3.5 from me.
So after the abysmal Iceman, fuck that fucking movie! It was just so nice to have quality again. Damn it all. We had good fight scenes. Donnie was great as ever. So for me, I give Kung Fu Killer 3.9 out of 5 ninja stars. So that's it for today's episode of the Movie Dojo. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of Kung Fu Killer. One of Donnie Yen's best, or one of his worst. And if you're curious on what Donnie Yen is doing in the future, there's a couple of projects coming up. He will be starring in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2, directed by Yuen Wu-Ping, which I have, decent high hopes for. And he's doing a third Ip Man movie, fighting against Mike Tyson, yes. Which I heard Donnie Yen injured Mike Tyson on set already. Donnie Yen's just a badass, okay? He's a badass. But no, Mike Tyson's cool, but he's in the film. And the biggest news of his career recently is that he will be starring in Star Wars Rogue One, movie coming out soon. Will he be the Jedi or Sith that we really want him to be?
Or will he be the Sean Bean of Star Wars Rogue One?
We'll have to find out. In the meantime, stay tuned for our next episode where we review the Raid films 1 and 2. See you next time. Fuck Iceman! Fuck that movie!
Let it go, man!